Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome if you are new to the channel. Welcome back if you love me. I love you too. It is the full moon in Sag. And I'm super excited about it because you know what? This full moon actually has a lot of good energy. And before we get into the secret code names, I am going to talk about it quite a bit. I've got my old school style notes. But so that everybody is aware, if you do want to fast forward over the introduction where I go over all the transits and what it means for everybody in general, if you want to fast forward, there will be timestamps after the live is over. The secret code names are Polaris, Dove Divine, Mephistopheles, Astronomikos, Briar Rose, and O The Wisp. All right, those are the 6 secret code names for this event. For those of you who do not know what the secret code names are, secret code names are personal readings purchased by individuals via my Etsy shop. Okay, it is their personal reading for the theme of this event, this one in particular, which is shots fired. And the beauty of it is that even though they know which reading is theirs, because I gave them their secret code name, they know which reading is their reading. Nobody else does. But because we're all connected, you can resonate to one of the secret code names and receive a message, right? That you and said person who purchased the reading are likely going through in some which way, shape, or form. Okay, because we're all connected. So if you are drawn to one of the secret code names, one of them stands out to you, it jumps out to you, it resonates with you, chances are there's a message in there for you. If you would like your own secret code name reading, you can go to my Etsy shop. It is linked in the description, and you can check out the different services that I offer there. I'm doing some personal readings. I have them available right now. So, you know, you can stop in and check it out. Otherwise, we're going to be getting into these transits. So you can see, I mean, there's a bit of red in there, a lot of pretty blue, and a lot of pretty kind of shapes, which I'm really, really liking. And so we're going to go over three main areas. Of course, one of them being the full moon, right? So looking at the chart, let me show you this. Oh, sit my ass forward. The sun is right here. That's Sedna. That's Venus and Jupiter. Okay, that's all these 4 right here between 2 degrees and 29 degrees. It's opposing Pallas Athena down here in Scorpio, and the moon in Sag. All right, we've got Saturn up here. We've got Neptune right here. We've got Mars and Chiron with the North Node. Then we've got over here on the ascendant line, it's ascendant at 1 degree Leo as far as CDT time zone, okay? And it's at a 2 degree Pluto with Fortune, okay, opposing. And these aspects are creating mystic rectangles, okay? These are mystic rectangles. That's what they're called. And I look at them as divine doorways. People call them mystic rectangles, but they really are divine doorways. And so the 2 mystic rectangles, one does include the sun with Venus and Jupiter, and the moon in Pallas, and that's with Lilith. No, it's not. That's with the ascendant and Astraea and Pluto with Fortune. The other mystic rectangle includes Lilith, and I'll get to that one in a second because that also involves Saturn. It's an interesting door, but the one that is probably the biggest one, anytime you have a divine doorway, mystic rectangle, there are 2 oppositions within the aspects, and then 2 sextiles and 2 trines. And the idea of it is that the positively aligned aspects, when you utilize them in their light, They help you integrate the oppositional energy, and it's not without challenge, right? Oppositions kind of polarize your own nature, and it's kind of being stuck between a rock and a hard place, like between the new and the old. If you think about doorways, it's like crossing that threshold, and it's a whole new world on the other side. You know, it's no different from being outside and walking through your front door, and all of a sudden you're in a completely different environment. You're not outside. The wind's not blowing. The birds chirping or the bugs around aren't as loud and dominant. You know, it's the sun's not beaming on you. You're inside of a house. It's air conditioned or it's heated. You got comfy furniture. You know, there's no animals in there unless they're your pets. You know, it's a completely different environment. It's no different when you walk through these doorways. There's this threshold point. For this one, the positive aspects that the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus are all making to the ascendant line with Estrella and Pluto. Pluto, you have to understand something about Pluto. Pluto can bring in benefit when it's in a positive aspect like a trine. But there's always a catch, okay? Like, for example, I'll give you a personal example that literally just happened last night. I've had the same little $500 credit card with my bank since I was 18 years old. It's 20 fucking years. $500 limit credit card just to keep my credit going, because I don't have any credit card debt otherwise. I don't believe in credit cards. I don't believe in store cards. I watched my parents have all kinds of fucking debt, and it was the biggest thing they argued over next to my father's fucking drinking and gambling and whatever. So I never wanted credit cards ever. But my bank had told me, you know, you really should keep your credit going. Get a little $500 card and you'll be fine, you know. So I've had this card for 20 years. And I got an email from my bank yesterday. And I thought it was a scam. At first I thought it was a scam. I was like, nah. They upped my credit limit on the card from my little $500 card to a $2,500 card. And I was just like, okay. Okay, that's a blessing. But it comes with a catch, right? It comes with a catch. If I spend more money on the card, obviously my monthly payment is higher. Obviously the interest goes up, right? So I could damage my credit if I keep it maxed out. So it's it was a positive. I had a surplus of available funds, but there is a catch to it. It's no different with this trine from Pluto to Jupiter, Venus, and the Sun. You know, it's something that in the reality, it looks really good. You know, it's a nice bonus, you know, literally a financial bonus with like Taurus and the Jupiter and Venus there at 29 degrees. It's nice. But if I'm not careful, I could screw myself with it. And that's what Pluto does. You know, Pluto can allow you a great deal of wiggle room, but Pluto being ruled by Scorpio is a sign of intensity and 0 to 100 and self-sabotage and self-betrayal and addiction and vices. You know, it's connected to all of those things. So if you don't stay in that transformative light that is Pluto, and you find yourself falling back into the shadow of that, it could bite you later, you know. So any blessings that come along through this moon, make sure that if you're walking through this door, that you're leaving old shadow patterns behind. Okay. Leave the old shadow patterns behind, because it's not, especially with Leo rising, right? The Leo ascendant with Estrella. It's about healing pride. It's about healing ego. It's about healing the need or desire to control. Like, yes, just because some things could rapidly improve doesn't mean that you have to go all out in that direction and do it without any awareness of consequence. Like you have to be able to weigh the pros and cons and not ignore the cons. Like if you're going to move forward with something, accept the cons, accept that these are the cons and the potential pitfalls of something, so that you're not upset if you end up showing up, or have a plan just in case one of those end up transpiring or going down, you know? So did I get one thing that I really fucking wanted, that I've been wanting for the last 3 years since my ex ripped the fucking box in half? Yes. My tarot cards, which y'all know, I use them on the channel often. This was the original version. There's 2 editions. I have both, but this is the first edition, and it's a collector's edition. It's not in print anymore. So the ones that are out there, like, that's it. And I had spent a good penny on this deck when I got it, because it was a collector's item. And my ex's drunk ass just fucking ripped the box and everything in half. And I was just like, he's like, it's just a box. I was like, oh my God. It's not just a box. Like, that's like $150 box. So, you know, I've been wanting to replace it since he did that. And given he had got me the second edition of the deck afterwards, but in my head, it wasn't the same. Like, replacing $150 deck with a $15, $20 deck. I was like, you did not make that up to me. Like, no, you know? So allow yourself forgiveness, and allow yourself to indulge in certain things, because, you know, the Jupiter and Venus is indulgence. At its root, it's indulgence. Jupiter in and of itself magnifies everything, and being in Taurus with its natural ruler, Venus, right? It really does ask you to look at the beauty of things. It asks you to look at what it is you really want on a mundane level that will bring you peace. Because for me, that deck was more than just having a collector's item at this point. It was closure on something that had upset me 3 years ago. You know, being able to have that and reset that made me feel really good. In here, you know, and that's a big deal, especially because this moon is on my Saturn Mercury conjunction, right? Natally, it's on my natal Venus at 28 degrees Scorpio. You know, I'm going through a Venusian opposition. So it's like, what do you do when parts of your heart space, and I talk about it at a very personal level, because I know a lot of you guys have similar alignments, or you have similar ideas about your own chart. And I think it's important to show you application and not just talk about astrology, but the application of it all, right? If I know that I'm going through a Venus opposition, and Jupiter, which is my ruling planet as a Sagittarius, is there with Venus, right? I have Gemini and wounds that are an orb of this sun. It's important to say, okay, where does the heart hurt, right? Venus and Scorpio, what hasn't died that is still causing pain in the heart space, especially in pertinence to love and things that I've spent on, right? That meant a lot to me deeply. And so going back, right? Tuning into that Plutonian energy, that retrograding of the energy, redoing the energy, taking something in low alignment and transforming it to something high alignment, right? That feels good. I'm utilizing the aspects in order to get through things. So whatever is going on in your own charts, and it's going to be different for each of you, you can utilize this energy in special ways. Okay, you can utilize this energy in special ways to close certain things up or snip off those loose threads that might catch on something later. You know, you got to remind yourself that you are worth investing in, especially with this last hurrah of Jupiter and Venus together in Taurus. You know, you are worth investing in. And we talk about this on Free Card Friday, which I'm going to be here for Free Card Friday tomorrow. So, you know, Free Card Friday was on Facebook. It's not anymore. We've moved it all over to YouTube. So you guys can get free readings with me and Tanya on Fridays now here on YouTube. It's my turn tomorrow. So I'll be here tomorrow doing free cards for 3 of our subscribers. Okay. Yeah, this is about making sure that you can embrace being proud of yourself without necessarily being prideful. You can embrace feeling really good about yourself without feeling like you have to shove how good you're doing down someone else's throat. You know, it's not about how good you're doing so that somebody else doesn't feel good, you know, because I know a lot of people are like that. They want to do great and feel great and show off because they want someone else to feel bad that they're not a part of it. They want someone else to feel jealous, or they want someone else to feel like they missed out. And that's not what it's about. You know, this Estrella on the ascendant with Leo is really asking you to be proud of yourself and the transformation that you've gone through, the elevation that you've gone through from where you were to where you are now. Like, that's the integration going on between the Estrella ascendant in Leo and the Plutonian fortune's door energy in Aquarius, right, in opposition to that. This is a part of this mystic rectangle. You've got to allow yourself to be happy for yourself without needing somebody else to suffer and want them to suffer, right, in order to make you feel better. It's no different than a bully, right? Watching somebody else be upset or watching somebody else get teased or teasing someone else, you know, makes certain people feel better about themselves. It's bully mentality. You know, if you want to succeed so that somebody else feels like shit, well, then you're in this bully energy. It's about transcending that. It's about transcending that and being proud of your own transformation and knowing that where you were and where you are is so grossly different that you can appreciate the value of the reality that you're in. The value of the reality, right? The Taurian, Geminian, Sun, Jupiter, Venus energy. It's the value of the reality, the face value facts of the reality that you've created for yourself, and start to really feel and see the future with the Pallas and Moon conjunction, right? If we talk about Pallas, like Pallas, because Pallas is a goddess of war, right? Just like Mars, but Mars is offensive. It's aggressive. It's initiating, right? Where Pallas is more strategic. It's more defensive. It's more take the high ground, right? So if we're dealing with these kinds of defensive, strategic, taking the high ground kind of scorpionic energy, it is about taking the high road or the gratitude through the harsh environment that Scorpio tends to bring. It's about turning pain into power and seeing how you've done that. because the Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius is an optimistic sign, and it is about feeling with the moon. It's about feeling optimistic about the future. You know, it's about knowing where you're at, knowing where you've been and how far you've come, and how much more progress you can make as you continue to move forward on your path. You know, Sag is the arrow. You know, it's not just the centaur, it's the arrow. Sag has goals, they have vision, they have long-term vision. And when you integrate that with a reality that is abundant, when you integrate that with knowing your value, when you integrate the anticipation and joy of the anticipation of your future and what you're creating because you've chosen certain things that got you to where you are, if you can integrate gratitude and feeling blessed and abundant in your reality because it is so starkly different, you know, like vastly different from where you've been, that you can be really optimistic about the future and continue to transform yourself. Because the more you work on your own self, the more you start to let go of these vices, the more you start to get a hold of yourself and take the high ground, you start to unlock this door. Okay. You start to unlock this door. The challenge is being prideful and sinking into low energy and being petty. The shadow of this, where you would fail to open the door, is to get so caught up in the analytics of it, so caught up in the reality that you lose sight of the future vision, right? Or being so hung up on money and things that you lose sight of the bigger picture, right? That you can't feel the end game anymore. And if you're in a reality with people, in a situation or whatever with people, and you're having a hard time seeing the future, or you're not feeling good about a future direction, right? With whether it's with a person or a company or whatever, friends, partner, doesn't matter. If you can't feel good about moving forward, if your vision of the future in said direction just seems more of a nightmare than something you can enjoy, this is where you have to accept the misalignment that you've gotten yourself in and make steps to free yourself into the unknown. And it is an unknown. You have no idea what happens when you let go. When you pull the arrow back and you put yourself under that much stress and you finally let it go, you have a goal, but you've got to trust that when you let it go, the divine will carry it the rest of the way. That your aim is true, that your intention is true. You know, otherwise, I think there is definitely, because Pluto, there's definitely a chance for what's going to feel like suffering later, because Pluto knows no limits. And even though this trine is in alignment with it right now, the catch is going to start to show when the sun, when Venus, when Jupiter, when Mercury, when Mars start to oppose Pluto, right? As the planetary parade starts to tick forward towards that 29-degree Cancer, 0-degree Leo point over the next couple months, that integration is going to start to feel harsh for people who stay in prideful decisions, where they don't want to admit that they were wrong, where they're doing it out of spite because they would rather deal with this than give it to someone else, right? It's like, I'd rather be miserable than watch someone else be happy. And it's the truth, you know, like there's people like that. There are people like that, that they will stay in relationships, they will stay in a company, they will stay in a certain position because damn if they're going to let someone else take it. So crazy. It's like, why? Why? I never understood that. Like, if someone is not happy, if you are not happy, make the executive decision as the ruler, leader, emperor, empress of your life to prioritize your happiness. Prioritize your own happiness. Prioritize your own happiness, guys. It's not about, you know, the lesser of two evils. It really is about what actually brings the most joy, because it's when you feel like you don't have a choice, when you actually have the most choices. When you feel like you don't have a choice is actually when you have the most choices. And you've got to start making choices, right? You've got to start making choices. The other mystic rectangle or divine door that we're going to talk about is Saturn at 28 degrees, at 18 degrees Pisces, opposing Lilith and Virgo at 18 degrees Virgo. And how that interacts with Vesta and Ceres. Vesta is in Cancer at 18 degrees. Ceres is at 21 degrees. So it's a little bit of an orb, but she's also retrograding. So this door, the oppositions with Lilith and Saturn, that's a bitch. Okay. They're both malefics. If you've got placements in Pisces and Virgo, you're gonna be feeling this one. The mutability, okay, of this transit. Mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces are probably gonna feel this the most next to Taurus and Aqua. Okay. Saturn having to integrate order, rules, and restrictions in order to liberate the self. That people have to take the steps, the tedious steps, the meticulous steps, the time. Saturn is the Lord of time. Virgo is the meticulous tick, tock. Every second counts. You have to be able to recognize that you have certain things that you believe in that allow you to escape your divine responsibility. And if you do not get that under control, you are going to experience some kind of karma for the self-abandonment, which is the shadow of Lilith. It's self-abandonment. Lilith in her light is liberation. She's the true counterpart, okay? People call her a crazy bitch, but she's a reflection. So, you know, if, hey, Shock, how you doing? So, you know, people could talk all the shit they want about Lilith and call her a crazy bitch, but the reality is that that's a hardcore reflection of the self. Like, you're bitching out on something, and it's crazy, you know, like you're not moving forward, divinely moving forward to receive your blessings, to receive what was meant to love you, right? Which was Lilith's purpose. She was created to love Adam, right? And was rejected because Adam had healing to do. It's why he showed up in the reality separate to begin with. The idea of separation, right? Rejected the love of self. didn't feel like he fit in with his own world and watched his love get shunned and leave. You know, I feel like the order of the integration with Saturn and Lilith is about embracing what is unknown and embracing the love that the unknown brings. Just because it's not something that you had originally planned on does not mean that the divine didn't plan it for you in your highest good for you to experience and love. You know, and it requires the self to restrict its shadows. You have to be able to restrict the shadows, right? Pisces is the sign of undoing. It's the sign of illusion. It is the sign of the buried self. It is the sign of fear, suppressed fear. So when we have Saturn moving through there, it's to restrict the fear from taking hold. It's to restrict the undoing from completely fucking unraveling out of control. Saturn is putting pressure on the mutable sign of Pisces to solidify new beliefs and override previous addictions to escapism, right? To avoidance. And it's asking you to liberate the self by taking the steps, the meticulous steps, and embracing the fact that you still have time here. If you are watching this video, you are living, breathing, alive. You still have time here to correct certain missteps that you took from a wounded place. Like right now, especially because there's this awesome little sextile thing going on between Neptune and the Sun, Jupiter, Venus conjunction, and Pluto with trines to the ascendant and the moon and Pallas. If you wanted to kick an addiction right now, you could. Like a lot of you know that have been following me forever, I promote being straight edge, right? I promote being straight edge. I think straight edge is sexy as fuck. I wouldn't date anybody who you know, drank or smoked or anything. I won't do it. It's not attractive to me. I had cracked and bought a pack of cigarettes back in like January, and it spiraled out for a while. And I quit. I quit again. I had attempted it, Justin, bless your heart. I love you. I had attempted it in between, and I held it solid for about a week and cracked back and bought another pack of cigs, which I was furious at myself for, but I did. And now I'm 5 days with no cigarettes and no desire for one either. I just have no interest in going and getting a pack at all. You know, if you want to kick a habit, kick the habit. You can do it with this energy here. Lots of positive energy towards that. So it doesn't matter what it is. If it's drinking, if it's overspending, if the addiction is games, if the addiction is porn, if the addiction is fill in the blank, cigarettes. It doesn't matter what the addiction is. If you wanted to quit caffeine, you wanted to go from, you know, drinking coffee, like maybe it's not caffeine in general. Maybe you just kick coffee and you want to do tea from now on. Maybe you feel more comfortable with matcha, or you feel more comfortable with yerba mate, or you feel more comfortable, you know, with just light teas and things like that. Maybe they're easier on your health, you know. This is a good time for that. Especially with Lilith and Virgo. It's a great time to liberate yourself of toxic habits and toxic people, because they're not good for your health. And really, really free yourself and claim your sovereignty. You know, whenever we have addictions, it's because some kind of wound is triggering the manifestation of it. You know, when I finally reach that place where I let the cigarettes go, given I was only smoking like 2 to 4 max a day, but I finally hit a moment leading up to this full moon where my chart and the transits going on created a 6-pointed star. And I decided to do an intention and claimed my own happiness. That I made my own happiness the most important. I claimed my health. You know, I took ownership of the fact that it was my responsibility. That if my health is shit, it's because I allowed it. If my life is shit, it's because I allow it. If I'm not at peace, or the people that I love are not at peace, and it's because of things that I chose, well, I created it, right? This is a great cycle, a great full moon to look at the self, right? Spotlight on the self in Gemini, right? The sun is in Gemini, to really look at the self and the light and the shadows of yourself and take ownership of your future. You know, the Sagittarian moon is about feeling your way to the future. It's about seeing the beauty in the journey and not wanting to cut it short. I don't want this life to get cut short. I'm not going to come back for another lifetime. But that doesn't mean I'm trying to rush this one to end. You know what I mean? Like, when we're talking about these doorways with Vesta and Ceres, right? A part of this mystical rectangle, mystic rectangle, divine door with Saturn and Lilith. The other facet of this is Vesta in Cancer and Ceres in Capricorn. You have to be able to nurture your authenticity. Vesta is one of the vestigial virgins. She's one of those who dedicated her life to her light. Like, her symbol is literally like the torch. It's like the torch. The eternal flame. You have to be able to recognize the fact, with it being in Cancer, and Cancer being a cardinal sign, right? That your intuition should take the lead. Your emotions should be used as a divine tool to help you realistically recognize what it is that you're dealing with and if it is in or out of alignment. Because if it doesn't feel good, if it's making you question yourself, if it's gaslighting you, you have to be able to trust yourself and dictate how you want to be nurtured, right? We're talking Ceres and Capricorn. Dictation and nurturance. Ceres is in mythology Demeter, which is Persephone's mother. And Demeter kind of reminds me of like the broken heart chakra, because she goes through such devastation every year when she loses Persephone to the underworld, right? She goes into this deep freeze of winter. It's the broken heart chakra, and it comes in seasons, right? It comes in seasons. And when you're moving through the integration or the lesson to nurture the self, you're going to feel the coldness. You're going to feel the need or desire to be loved. And if people are not loving you the way you deserve to be loved, or the way you ask to be loved or express love, that their love language is not the same as yours. If there's a communication breakdown, this is where you start dictating what needs to get done in order to improve, and what you're going to do if things do not improve. Because everybody has free will. You could tell them that you like affection. If they're not an affectionate person, that's fine. But if you want an affectionate person, then it's like, okay, this is what I want. I am not happy without it. So you don't have to be affectionate. But if you are not going to be affectionate, and this is something that I prioritize, I'm going to go be with someone and find someone who is affectionate, because that's what I really, really want. And if you are unwilling to speak to me in the love language that I receive and understand, then I have to let you go. You know, it's no different than if someone is drinking. It's like, you're allowed to drink. You have free will. You can drink all you want. But I don't want to be with an alcoholic. I don't want to be with someone who drinks even socially. So you can drink. But if you continue to drink, I'm out. Like, I'm dictating how I'm going to nurture myself, right? Ceres and Capricorn. Walking the authentic path, eternal flame, Vesta in Cancer, right? Self-nurturance. This is how I am going to nurture myself. This is what I require. This is the signal, right? Like the eternal flame, the torch is also a signal. This is the signal. I'm telling you, this is what is authentic for me. And you're either in alignment and you're doing it, right? Because I'm delegating the task of affection to you, or I'm going to delegate that task to someone else. If you are not up for the job in that position, I'm going to delegate it to somebody else. That's what Capricorn does. Capricorn is the CEO of the company, right? That's its archetype. If you're not going to get the job done, you're fired. I'm going to find somebody else who is capable of getting the job done. So the second mystic rectangle, the second divine doorway, is a little harsher than the first one. The first one was really about embracing your abundance, embracing your growth, being optimistic about the future, looking forward to things, and accepting that if you are not in that vibration, then you're misaligned and you need to step into the unknown, right? The second mystic rectangle is really about facing yourself, cracking down on yourself, and cracking down on the world around you in a loving way, right? In a loving way, because you're not out to hurt people. It's not about being malicious. It's like, well, if you won't do it, then I'll find somebody else that will. You know, it's just, listen, if this is who you are and this is who I am, then maybe we can admit that no matter how much we care about each other, that we're just not meant to be together, though. Like, we can care deeply about each other and also accept that being together is not the highest alignment. It is not the best path that we could both choose. There has to be a better one. And we could still respect each other, and we could still, you know, separate in a positive, you know, friendship and soul kind of way, and agree that as much as there is love and caring there, we don't actually work really well as partners, you know, whether it's partners in business or partners in love or friendship circles or whatever. You know, sometimes you just have to accept the fact that love is there, but compatibility is not. And that's okay. Sometimes compatibility is there, but the love is not. It happens. But how are you going to find someone or a situation where both love and compatibility are there if you're staying with something that's not that? Right? You can only open a new door when you close the old one. And that is what these mystic rectangles or these divine doors are asking you to do. In order to step into the new, you have to let go of the old. You can't want to be inside in the air conditioning, but not want to leave the outside. You want to stay outside. It's like, okay, but you have to pick one then, because you can't stay outside and enjoy what you're enjoying outside and go in the house and enjoy the air conditioning and your favorite shows or get your snacks or whatever. Like, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. So decide, recognize where your faults are. It's demanding self-recognition. Where's your faults? Where do you refuse to improve and stay in toxic or low-aligned situations because they allow you to persist in an unhealed state because they too do not want to heal? They too do not want to change. And so you're with each other and tolerating each other's wounds because you don't want to take responsibility for yourselves. That's what the second door is about. Can you take responsibility for yourself? Can you look at yourself and say, this is where I've refused to heal. This is what I keep making excuses for and to stay the same. This is why I'm with this person, because this person allows it. And I know the person I really want to be with wouldn't allow it. So I'm staying with this person and refusing to heal because I am afraid of the unknown. I'm afraid of healing. I'm afraid of getting what I want. I'm afraid that if I get what I want, it'll all fall to pieces. It'll all fall to shit. So I might as well just accept this semi-shitty situation, this semi-toxic situation, and not do the healing and not go after what I really want. When there's no book. There is no book that says if you heal and get what you want, it's going to be taken from you. No such book. No such thing is written. Matter of fact, if you're in high alignment and it's meant for you, nothing can take it from you. Nothing. If you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to be meticulous, if you're willing to do everything that you are guided to do, if you are willing to revamp your belief system, if you are willing to shine your eternal light and know what it is that you want and know what it is that you can give and delegate. Delegate. This is what I need. Either you're capable of it or you're not. If you can stay in that mindset, you will align yourself really quickly with whatever is meant for you, whatever or whoever, because it either works or it doesn't. Right? 99% is not 100. It either works or it doesn't. You either lie or you don't, right? You're not, 99% honest. Listen, if you lie sometimes, then the fact of the matter is you are a liar. You lie sometimes. You are not 100% honest person. Like, you lie sometimes, and that's okay if you can accept where you are. And yeah, you lie sometimes, but if you want to be honest because someone is demanding honesty, then you have to accept the fact that who you were as a liar cannot persist moving forward. You cannot do it. It will crack and crumble the reality you build with an honest person, right? If you want a reality with an honest person who does not lie, they are not a liar, they do not lie. If you want a reality with that person, you have to stay on that wavelength, because if you start lying to that person and they start to feel it, sense it, find out, your reality with that person is going to crumble. It's no different with me with people who drink. You know, I don't want to be with anybody who drinks. If all of a sudden my partner starts to drink, it's like our reality is going to start to fall apart because I'm not in alignment with that, right? I'm not in alignment with that. So you have to understand that the changes that you make, the changes that you choose, the people that you align with, these alignments are permanent elevations or even permanent digressions. Because if you choose to not walk through the door, what's going to happen is the door is going to slam shut. That's the thing about doors. They're windows of opportunity, and you could take them while they're there, or they're literally going to pass you by and it's like a door slamming. These alignments are only in place really for the next few days, and then it's going to start to dissipate. So decide, take the time to reflect over things over the next few days. Okay. One other thing I want to talk about, and then we'll get into the secret code names. The one other thing I want to talk about is Mars and Chiron, because Mars and Chiron they're moving into conjunction in Aries. Mars is getting closer and closer to Chiron. Chiron is squaring Ceres, and Mars is squaring Vesta. and they're quincunxing on Lilith. So they're triggering Lilith and they're agitating Vesta and Ceres. Vesta and Ceres are the two that are asking you to shine your light in your authenticity and delegate or dictate how you're going to be loved and receive love, right? This is the goal. This is what I'm going after. Either you are capable of providing that outcome or you're not, right? It's challenging that, which means there's a sexual component or a wounded component or a competitive component with the Aryan energy. So there could be an unwillingness to love the self or shine authentically because someone puts that thing down on you like nobody else does, right? They are intimate with you in physical ways that nobody else is. And the lust or the physical attraction or the chemistry becomes a distraction, and it's a wound, right? It's a wounded attraction with Chiron there. It's not going to pan out well. It's not, the more you stay in it for the chemistry, the more the torch goes out, the less control you have, right? Because Capricorn and Cancer, being cardinal signs, are in control. They're in control. When you have that challenged by Aryan energy, who's also cardinal, it's like too many chiefs and not enough Indians kind of thing, like too many cooks and in the kitchen. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. At some point you start to lose control. If somebody else has a sexy kind of bond to you, you're going to need to override it. If someone has that competitive edge where they don't want to give up what they have because they don't want someone else to take it, right? It's like in the workplace, like I hate my position, but if I give it up, so-and-so is going to take it from me. And I can't stand so-and-so. I hate so-and-so. So I'm going to keep my position just so they don't get it. Tell me y'all have known people like that. It's no different with relationships, right? Like I'm not happy in my relationship, but I know damn right well if I leave him that so-and-so is going to try and take him. So I'm going to stay in this relationship so that so-and-so can't have him. Guys do it with girls too. Like I'm going to stay with this girl and be with this girl because if I'm not with this girl, so-and-so is going to try and take her. And I don't want him to have her. I hate that motherfucker. And it's just, what are you doing? It's that competitive wound. It's wounding. It's Chiron there. It's Chiron with Mars there. The things that you're doing from a wounded place where you feel like you have to compete or be better than other people. Like, do you think because you hold a position over someone else at your place of employment that you're better than that person? Does it validate you in some way? We were talking about that bullying energy earlier, right? It's a bullying energy. You being in that position, how does it make you better than them? It doesn't. It's a title. It's a label. It just means you get paid to do a certain job and they get paid to do a certain job. Your titles are different, but you are not a better person than them because you hold a better title. It's no different with relationships. If you're holding on to someone who you are not happy with, man or woman, it doesn't matter. If you are holding on to someone you are not happy with because on some level it makes you feel like you're better than someone else because you're their partner instead of so-and-so, are you really better than them? Or is it like a false illusion? Is it your wounding convincing you that you need to feel superior because you're insecure? We can call a spade. Because that quincunx to Lilith and Virgo, that's going to trigger up every fucking insecurity you've got. That's going to trigger up every insecurity you've got. If you're in misalignment, doing things from a wounded place. If you have significant placements between like 15 degrees and 23 degrees of any of the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn. If you have any placements around 15 to 23 degrees Virgo, wild insecurities. They're coming up. They're coming up. Lilith has been kissing into Libra energy. It's going there. It's going there. Like, you have to be able to really look at yourself and ask yourself, where did you learn that certain things about you weren't good enough? When did you start feeling insecure? Was it because one of your parents was a fucking asshole, or they're a douchebag, or they're a lazy, greedy, angry, whatever, and they're a part of you? They created you. You're a part of them. You have things in common with them. People tell you, oh my God, you're just like them sometimes. You look just like them, and you're reminded that you're like them, but you can't fucking stand them. Or they're a disgusting person. They're a horrible person. And you battle with yourself because you don't feel good enough on a deep subconscious level because your parent was a piece of shit or did shitty things. Like, think about it. Where do the insecurities actually come from? And can you learn to accept that you are, yes, physically made up of the same stuff as your parents? And yes, there are certain things that you lived through that created certain similarities between you and them. But just because you're not in control of the woundings that you take on does not mean you are not responsible for healing them and being better and starting a new pattern, you know, a new future for yourself and any of your bloodline that come from you after you. You're responsible for something new, you know. And I think that's the big deal with this. I think if you can override being petty, I think if you can override being competitive and really look at it from a position of, I need to get petty with my dang self, you know, like I need to get really nitpicky with my own self because I'm going to be better than I was yesterday. It's not a matter of being better than so-and-so. It's a matter of being better than who you were yesterday. It's about being a little bit happier today than you were yesterday. It's about being a little more grateful today than you were yesterday, right? You're in competition with no one but yourself. You're in competition with no one but yourself. And no amount of putting anybody else down to feel better is going to actually make you feel better. It's just going to perpetuate the fact that you feel deeply shitty and sad on the inside. It's not going to hide it. That's going to be the kind of thing you think about before you go to bed. And the kind of anxiety you feel when you wake up in the morning. That's what that is. The insecurities are unreal, right? So, big time blessing potential with this. Big time healing potential with this. It requires detachment from who you were and what you manifested from that vibration. What and or who you manifested from that vibration. Because if your energy was in a low place and you manifested a certain reality with certain people in it, and you're elevating, unless those individuals are actively choosing to elevate with you versus meeting you with resistance and volatility more than likely, because they're going to feel like a victim and get really upset, possibly volatile with the Chiron and Mars and Aries. They might even potentially become violent or do things that are rather reckless and impulsive to keep people low, you know, worry about me, freak out about me, like put the attention on me so that you don't do what you were planning on doing. You know, if it means you're leaving said situation, people could act out in rather crazy ways. Okay. Just be really aware of that. If you are choosing better for yourself and people are freaking out in a volatile way, or they're acting out impulsively, well, if you're leaving, I'm just going to go cheat. You know, like it's like some crazy shit. Like if people are acting like that, it's literally just confirming for you that you're making the right decision, letting it go or letting them go, whatever it is. It's the right decision. If people want to get upset and angry or do stupid shit, well, they can win stupid prizes. You know, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and people are just going to have to learn. And they're going to be the ones that are going to be going through, you know, the Pluto opposition to this planet parade over the summer, right? Later down the line, when these planets start to move into opposition with Pluto, they're going to feel it. Okay. They're going to be the ones that feel it. So with that, we're going to get into the secret code names now. We've got Polaris, Dove Divine, Mephistopheles, Astronomikos, Briar Rose, and Willow the Wisp. We're going to go in that order. There will be timestamps once the live is done. We're going to start with Polaris. Polaris is the North Star. I'm using the Prism Tarot. Okay. And I'll clarify with the Hermetic Tarot. I thought they were both really fitting for the Geminian energy. And the Spiritualist Fuck deck for guidance. All right. So let's see. Polaris. This is shots fired. So if y'all remember the last new moon in Taurus, we had our hires, our guides and guardians coming through to intervene on our behalves, right? That was the beginning of the intervention. Shots fired is literally like the divine saying, all right, let's go now, right? Like all the preparation was in place. All of the work, the back end work, right? The bull work that needed to get done behind the scenes got done. And so now it's about firing off and hitting the target, right? Releasing the arrow and feeling our way to whatever is meant for us, right? Premonition and all of that self-fulfilling prophecy type stuff. So what is it? Because this is the first step in the right direction. So what is this for Polaris? Definitely has that, you know, follow your true north type vibe. You might want to look into your north node placement. Two of Gems, Five of Lightning, both in the reverse. I think the first step, this deck, I'm holding it upright and they're all flying out in the reverse. That's so wild. Clarities, please. I think you're changing your priority. I think you're changing your priority because you're not going to compete with someone. You're not playing games. I think you're picking up on stuff intuitively. And even though your heart doesn't necessarily want to go, your mind is out. Like you're thinking about it. And every time you think about it, your mind tells you you should leave. Your heart doesn't want to. But your head knows what the fuck it's saying. You know what I mean? Like, walk away. Because I've got the 8 of Cups in the reverse, but it's clarified by the 6 of Swords. So your heart don't want to move forward, but your head does. And I think you might have this belief that you can handle it. It might be like a residual thing you've told yourself that you're strong and you can handle it. You can deal with it. You can get through it. It's like, just because you're strong doesn't mean you should be carrying 1,000 pounds on your back every day. Just because you're strong doesn't mean you should be carrying 1,000 pounds on your back every day. Why? Because you're strong? So what? So what? That's great. You can be strong when you need to be strong, when you have to be strong. But to just carry weight every day? Why? I think you have a habit of telling yourself that you can handle it. And that walking away or leaving it behind is weak. It's failing. When it's not. It's not. You're competing with someone else for time or energy or connection. It's almost like I'm going to give you the best example I can give you because I know what it feels like. It's like watching someone else be so emotionally invested in someone else when they should be emotionally invested in you. And that person doesn't even matter. Like, they really don't. Like, one of my exes would play on his game system, PlayStation, whatever, and got really emotionally entangled with one of the gamers that he was playing with. And she was having relationship issues. She was having life issues. And he was so invested in talking to her and being on the phone with her and supporting her to the point that I swear to God, he was going to invite her to stay with us for a while. And I looked at him and I was like, you need to get your head out of your ass. Like, this woman was in such a state. She had him so wrapped up. And I was just like, you need to snap back into reality. Like, and watching him be so emotionally invested in her when he was not emotionally invested in me at all was rough. And it's kind of, this is kind of reminding me of that. You know, it's knowing that someone is so emotionally wrapped up into something else and you're competing with it. And you shouldn't be competing with it, and you know it, but they're wrapped up into something else. And even if you deserve to have what someone else is receiving from them, the fact of the matter is you are not receiving it from them, and you shouldn't be competing for it. And your heart is invested in this person, but everything in your head is telling you red flag, red flag, red flag. You need to let this go. This person has issues or this person has problems. And I know that you love them, but you are way too emotionally invested in this person who's not reciprocating the same emotional investment in you. And I think that a part of you, needs to be practical and lay it to rest. I think a part of you needs to take a break, at least a break from whoever or whatever this is. That you need to focus on your own security and your own choices and dive into your own shadow work and show yourself some fucking compassion. Because this person doesn't matter like you think. This person does not matter like you think. They're reflecting your inability to prioritize yourself, your own emotional disconnect from yourself. You're ignoring how you're feeling. How you're feeling doesn't feel good with this person. Every time you feel like you're competing with for their time or their attention or their love or their interest or whatever. Every time you feel like you have to compete with everything else in their life to get your needs met, it doesn't feel good. And you're ignoring the fact that it doesn't feel good and saying, well, I'm resilient. I can get through this. I can handle it. I can carry it. And it's like, that's not the answer. That is not the answer. This person, you should listen to your head on this one. If your head is telling you to go, you should be listening to your head on this one. You got to ask yourself, why do you feel the need to be spiritually beaten down by this person for nothing? For nothing. Give me some more insight, please. They're holding on to something that you can't see. It's almost as if the situation is what it is because they would rather have it than have less or be without it. Whatever situation they have going on with you. It's better than not having anything. But they do want to manifest something different. They don't actually intend on longevity, whatever the situation is. They do not intend on longevity. It's almost like you're a placeholder. Just a placeholder. You're holding space and holding place until something better manifests or presents itself. And to be fair, you might be in the same energy. You might be in the same vibration. Well, this is better than having nothing. It's better to have it than not have it at all. And if something better comes along, then maybe I'll go after it. But you're so anchored into this investment that you really wouldn't give any other opportunity a chance. No different than the situation is so invested in something else coming in that they're not really giving you a chance. Right? It's not practical. It's not realistic or practical from a spiritual standpoint to stay involved with this person. I got the 6 of Cups on the bottom and the 7 of Pentacles on top. This is a sacred soulmate, a past life connection. Yeah, it was always meant to inspire you. It was always meant to help you define what it is you really want. And then it's meant to fall apart. It's meant to fall apart, the Tower. Because you're stronger and divinely moving forward into the Ace of Cups and justice after that. Like, you have to let the Tower fall. You have to let the Tower fall. You have to humble yourself. It was never meant to be the 10 of Pentacles. It's the 7 of Pentacles. You'll always be waiting. You'll always be waiting with no result. It's wasted effort. Nothing you could do could make it grow any faster. But it was always meant to inspire you to define what it is that you really want. And then as soon as you know what you really want and it's not them, you can let them, or whatever the situation is, go. And as soon as you do, you're in your power. The divine chariot comes in, Ace of Cups, Justice, the Fool, Princess of Cups, 6 of Pentacles. It's all up from there. It's all up from there. You just can't be getting confused about what it is you really want. Now that you've defined it for yourself, don't change the definition of it. You know, like, stick to it. What's the guidance, please, Spirit? Guess who ain't got to explain shit to nobody? You. You. It says, quit trying to explain yourself to everyone. No one has to understand your brand of cuckoo. You gotta own your shit. But that's a whole lot different than trying to get everyone to sign off on whatever weirdness you want to create. Go on with your freaky little self, you freaky little fuck. That's what it says. I ain't kidding. You don't have to explain yourself. If you want to move on because you're not happy, then you want to move on because you're not happy. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to. And they can throw a fit. They cannot like it because they would rather have you than nothing. But if you're never really moving forward or being open to what is meant for you because it's around, you have to let it go. And it is what it is. You don't need a reason. You don't have to wait for shit to hit the fan. What if shit never hits the fan? What if nothing ever happens that you would definitively be able to say, okay, I'm moving forward now? Like, what if that moment never comes and it's always just, it is what it is. It's not bad. It's not great. It is what it is. Whatever. No, I'm not happy, but whatever. What if it just never, what if you just never had that moment where you got genuinely fucked over and had a reason to leave? What if that moment never came? They never gave you a reason. Would you just stay then? Like, you don't need a reason to go. The reason is you just feel like there's more out there for life than this. Period. Well, what are you going to do? It doesn't even matter. Like, there's more to life. There's more to life. There was a point in my life where I literally moved 20 times in like 3 years. I lived in 20 different places in 3 years, including 3 different cars that I owned. You know, like, because you have to be able to say no and rise to the challenge that, you know, despite all situations and circumstances, certain things are not acceptable and they're not tolerable either, and they're not going to fly. And it doesn't even matter from who, you know, it doesn't even matter from who. I'm not going to take disrespect from anybody, you know, not when it's not deserved, not when it's not deserved. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. You bet your ass I will move the fuck out and sleep in my car and figure it out. Every time. Every time. I'm not beat. I'm not beat to be disrespected. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let me find out. Let me find out. Let me wake up and realize I'm being disrespected. Like, I'll be out so fast. I'll be out so fast. Ask every bridge I burned in those 3 years. Fucking crazy. Like, even friends that I knew for 8 years, friends I had for 10 years, people that I had known for 5 years. Like, the eye opener was unreal. It was unreal. People think that they can get away with using you because, you know, you have something that they don't, or you have something that they want, or they're hoping, you know, that you're going to make it big one day and have lots of fucking money and take care of them. And it's like, are you my friend because you genuinely like who I am? Or are you just around because you could get something from it? You're benefiting from it. Like, it's fucking wild. It's fucking wild. People talk to me like they don't even fucking know me. Like, what? Follow your true north. Polaris. Right? Polaris. Follow your true north. You don't need a reason. You don't need to explain. They want to call you fucking crazy. That's fine. At least they'll be crazy and happy. It's more than you could say for them. All right, Dove Divine. Dove Divine. Spirit shots fired. What is it? What's the first step being taken? Since our guides, guardians, and angels started intervening behind the scenes last new moon. If you want to go back and watch the new moon in Taurus, that live, I was re-listening to it today too. It had some awesome messages in there. And it's definitely a prelude to whatever secret code name you were drawn to today. Dove Divine. We've got Victory with the 6 of Lightning. Magician in reverse. Page of Swords in reverse. The Death card. Clarities, please. Wow. Wow. Ten of Gems, or the 10 of Pentacles, is on bottom with Justice on top. Wow. Wow. All right. Dove Divine. This is your secret code name. You resonated to the secret code name. Dove Divine. You've reached with a sacred soulmate. You've mastered some kind of defeatist mentality in regards to yourself. And you're realizing that you can trust your intuition above all else. And that you are the master of your world. That you are the master of your world. You're going through a major rebirth. Major, major, major rebirth. You got fucking smarter. You got fucking smarter. Whoever it was that you were dealing with back on the new moon in Taurus, whoever you were dealing with, you got fucking smarter. And claimed a victory at that. We've got the 6 of Wands with the 2 of Cups. You've got a victory with someone. And some kind of third-party contract, some kind of manipulative energy, that's done. They're gone. Whatever the third party was, that's gone. The Page of Swords in the reverse with the 9 of Gems. You don't even give a shit about what they're doing. Whoever the third party is, Because it's curiosity in the reverse. You don't even fucking care how they're doing. They could be abundant. They could hit the lottery. You don't fucking care. You do not care at all. You've completely let go and moved forward. Death card with the Chariot, letting go, momentum. Like you've completely transcended whatever that karmic energy, third party energy, person, place, behavior, belief, whatever it was. You completely let it expire and give no fucks at all. That's the first. If that is not exactly what you're doing now with this moon, that is your first step. Letting the karmic, whatever it is, go and living your best fucking life. Like they don't even exist. Because you are coming into balance for your own legacy. Like whatever your future is, whoever you become, whatever your reputation is that precedes you, it's going to be a big deal. And whoever this person is that you cut off, I'm sure they're spying. I'm sure they're going to be spying on your abundance. I'm sure they're going to be spying on how well you're doing and be really pissed that they were cut out of the deal. You know, they were cut out of the story, out of the journey. But damn it, you leveled up. Yeah, you leveled up. Give me some more insight, please. I just pulled your guidance card, but I'm gonna pull some more insight into this. I feel like that message is so clear, though. What else? Yeah, you know when someone's being dishonest. You know when someone's bullshitting you. You trust your intuition now. If someone was able to gaslight you before or lie to you before, not anymore. Someone lies to you, it's almost like, where's my match? Where's my match? We're going to burn that bridge. Where's my match? As soon as they bullshit you, it's just like off with their head. Let's humble them. You just reinvent yourself. You burn bright like Phoenix energy. You fucking burn. Shining flame. Yes, as things get harder before you level up. Know that. Things get harder before you level up. It says you're working hard and making good life choices, and then out of nowhere a shitstorm starts and you can't figure out why. It's like mountain climbers getting to the peak. It's steeper and the weather is worse up there. But if they were to give up or spend time crying about why it's so hard, no one would ever get to the top of Mount Everest. Most of us would rather chop off a hand than climb a snow-covered mountain. But it's still a great metaphor for making shit happen. It's the truth, though. The closer and closer you get to the top, the harder and harder it is. But that don't mean the victory ain't so fucking sweet. Like, if you've had to leave someone to the divine, because I don't look at it as leaving people behind. We never leave people behind. We leave them to the divine. Right? We leave it to the divine to handle whatever it is. And I think that it might be hard to leave certain people to the divine, but they're better off. They're better off, and you are better off moving forward and hitting your goals and reaching your peaks and getting your wins. You know, like, why would you quit just before you reach the top? Because someone else has to stop. It's like, leave it to the divine that they'll be okay, and you keep going and get your fucking win. You know? Yeah, it's going to be hard sometimes, but you deserve the win, and you're going to get it. And you're going to get it. All right. Of divine. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're in good alignment. I think you're in really good alignment moving forward. Okay. Don't doubt yourself. You trust yourself now. That I'm aware of. You trust yourself now. We're going to get into Mephistopheles. All right. Mephistopheles. For those of you who do not know who Mephistopheles is, he is an archdevil in D&D lore. And he's quite a character. He is quite a character. Extremely intelligent. A little bit arrogant. And hot-headed. Hot-headed. What shots fired, please? What is the divine doing with shots fired to this full moon in Sag for Mephistopheles? Oh, I'm getting the, oh, this is really crazy. I'm getting flashes of the first Saw movie. We're going to play a game. Clarities, please. We got a lot of cups out here. Hierophants on the bottom. Ace of Pentacles is on top. Okay. For secret code name Mephistopheles. What I'm feeling like there is an energy that wants to restart or try again. Whether that is you or someone else. But that requires unlearning an old belief or a very prominent belief. The Hierophant is literally the unlearn card. Something about efficiency, divine efficiency. What the fuck? Because I know whose reading this is, and Spirit is asking me to read the cards anyway, because it doesn't make sense to me that you would get this reading. But the divine is telling me to read it anyway. You might literally have someone who has gone through a little bit of a growth curve, who wants to transition and move towards you. They look at you like a twin flame, like homecoming. Like you are home to them. You feel like home. You're their wish fulfillment. You're emotional stability. You are emotional stability. They're trying to plan manifesting you. They're determined. They're determined to heal something. But I think you have a lot of anxiety. I think your sensitivity is heightened about or around this person. It causes anxiety. Because you don't know if this person really did really went through the development, the spiritual development, the real world development. I think you're contemplating the journey of it all. And I think you're more inclined to release it because you have other priorities. Or if this is you, you know, planning to move towards somebody and you're determined to manifest them and heal, they might have anxiety about you, right? Depending on who is resonating to this message. But there's something here about opportunity. There's memories replaying. I've got the 6 of Cups here. I'm hearing Love Game by Lady Gaga. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Huh. I feel like you or someone else, there is someone reminiscing on how healthy someone else was for them. Someone is reminiscing on how healthy someone else was for them. But it's like they're coming after it like you're a prize that needs to be won. They're using some kind of strategy to see if they can win you. Which, to be fair, if they were genuinely healed, they wouldn't need to strategize. They would just be themselves, and themselves would speak volumes. And you would feel much more comfortable, right? The fact that this person is planning or strategizing lets me know right away that they're not healed, right? Or at least that the healing that they've done is not quite enough to be with you on the level that you've healed. Because if they felt like they were on your level, they would have no problem just being themselves and talking and letting it go if they had to let it go. This person, there's strategy involved. It's a game, which is immature, right? And we have the 7 of Clouds with the King of Cups. It's scarcity mentality with emotional maturity. It's these 2 cards here. And I don't like that. I don't like that combination. Scarcity mentality, clarified by emotional maturity. They are not emotionally mature. They're immature. And I think that they would play you for a fool if they could. Like, this person might very well be your twin flame. They might be your counterpart. One of them, if you believe in multiple flames. Right? That different people hold facets of each other. Hey, Lala, how are you? But yeah, I feel like you're aware. It's like you are aware that they're your counterpart. They are your quote unquote twin flame. I don't think you deny that fact. But you are aware of the fact that in order to have a happy dynamic ship with them, a whole, fulfilling, harmonious relationship with them, that you can't jump into a relationship with them with the healing incomplete. And I think a part of you feels that anxiety and the worry when they come back in. Like, I see you, your value, I want to do this and be this for you and blah, blah, blah. And it's all to get who you used to be back for them. I don't think they've genuinely, even though they may have made some positive changes, I don't know if they could be long-term consistent and stable because they're still playing games. Like 99% is not 100. And it's like, as much as you would want to believe and say yes and keep moving forward with a chance with this person to see if the healing really took, I think it would be a little too early. Let's get some more insight. Let's go a layer deeper for Mephistopheles. What else? Yeah, the devil. Of course it came out for Mephistopheles. Give me one more. Yeah, they don't want to be sad anymore. They don't want to be sad anymore. They've lost all pleasure in life. Life is not pleasurable. It's empty. And they don't know what to do. They're stuck in their head, 8 of Swords. They don't know what to fucking do because they're holding on to you for dear life. The memory of you where life was actually enjoyable. They enjoyed life more when you were in it. And that's all they know. Anytime you were not around or not a part of their life was fucking miserable. You show up and are in their life and they feel stability. They feel emotional stability for the first time. They feel loved for the first time or seen for the first time. Life is easier when you're in it. They're in a lot of fucking pain. Hierophant on top, 3 of Swords on bottom. Hierophant's twice now. They can't stand the pain of themselves. But they have to unlearn the pain state. They have to unlearn the behaviors that cause the pain. Because if they're going to move forward with you and receive you the way they want to receive you, then you have to be able to receive them the way you want to receive them, which means they have to give that. They have to be that. But they weren't like that before. You see, that's the thing. They never showed you a version of themselves where they were what you wanted truly before. The potential you saw in them, they never gave it to you. They never hit it. They never reached it. And it ended for whatever reason. It ended because they were not living up to the potential that you hoped that they would for you. Because you deserved the best of them. You didn't get the best of them, though. You probably got the worst of them. And now they're looking back and realizing that you were the only happiness they've ever really known. The only peace, the only joy, the only sense of calm, the only safety that they ever really felt. Looking back in hindsight. They might not have felt that then, but looking back in hindsight, they recognize it now. I think this person's obsessed with you. If this is a counterpart and you've completely written them off, like emotionally, they've completely stole any attachment that you had away. Like I don't feel like you're attached to them at all. I think you still recognize this person as your counterpart. You're not in denial of it. But any emotional wound attachments, right? Trauma bonds, any trauma bonds you had to this person, you healed that. So you don't have that bond to them anymore. They still have a fuck ton of shit that they're working through. And they want you to be there to kind of make it go away. But you being present is not going to make it go away. It's just going to cause you a different kind of pain. You know, they're going to bring in a different kind of pain than they did before. It would be someone who was completely, you know, detached, go third parties, didn't give a fuck, to being completely needy and clingy and, you know, wanting to do everything with you, wanting to know everything about you. And it's just like they had no interest in getting to know you before. And now it's like you are the only thing they're interested in now. And it's just like, you know, you want more from me than I'm ready to give you because you fucking busted the shit out of it last time. Like, I'm not just going to come back in and love on you again the way that I did. Like, you know, like it's going to cause a different kind of pain because them being ready, quote unquote, and you not being ready is going to hurt no different than it did when the roles were reversed. When you were ready and they weren't ready, it was painful. It's no different with the roles reversed. It's still going to be painful because they have healing to do. But it's almost like the more space you create, the more obsessed and focused on you they get. And they're not actually focusing on themselves. Like, they really have to redirect and focus on being a better person and loving life and creating a better life with or without you. Happiness with or without you. That you are not the source of happiness. You are the reflection of what happiness can be like in the world. That happiness was not obsolete because they needed the reminder because the rest of their life and everybody in it was shitty. On some level, they were fucking shitty. You are the only light. I don't know how you deal with that is that's up to you. But whether you realize it or not, you've got someone completely obsessed with you. And if this is not if you're in a situation where you feel like you might have had multiple counterparts, because they're all different connected facets of the same soul. I think that if you find yourself in a position where there's more than one counterpart, I think you definitely have someone obsessed with you. They might not know what the fuck to do if you moved on. Like, if you moved on and found somebody else, if that day came, I think they'd lose their fucking mind. I think they'd lose their fucking mind. Like Mephistopheles losing their fucking temper, going fucking ballistic like crazy. I think this person would lose their fucking mind and forget who they are for a minute if you ended up with someone else. This is the guidance now. It says, vibrate so high that toxic people fall back because they no longer know how to approach you. Maybe you literally can even. Vibrate so high that toxic people fall back because they no longer know how to approach you. Because I think that's what's going on right now. Like this person, they are planning. They're trying to figure out a way that they can get back in your good graces. They want to work it out. They've had some kind of moment. It says, right, the backs. It says, know how you can tell you're on to some hardcore personal growth? Your perspective gets bigger and your inner circle gets smaller. It may be that people who want to gossip quit texting when you stop talking shit. If you're busy manifesting your dreams, keeping your side of the street clean, and working on those old gnarly wounds that people want to avoid in themselves, some people are bound to disappear. Be kind to yourself and to others as you outgrow people and places. Yeah, I think you've leveled up and grown and stuff beyond this where this person is. Like, I'm not saying they haven't grown at all. I think they have. But you also have grown, and your growth exceeds where they are at. I think you've both grown, but you're still not on the same level. I think where you're at is a little further advanced. Yeah, when your behavior changes, the people who are in misalignment tend to exit. You know, it's like the card says, if you stop talking shit, then the people who love gossip stop calling. You know, it's no different like back when I used to smoke weed. Like my ex-sister-in-law used to come over all the time because I would smoke her out. She would come over all the time. Every week for hours just to smoke for free. Because she was my sister-in-law. I didn't care. I never asked her for nothing. She'd come over and smoke my weed. Even if I wasn't smoking with her, I'd offer it to her because I know she wanted to smoke. But as soon as I told her I had quit smoking weed, she stopped coming around. I was like, it's all right. Like, you can still come over. Like, I'll still talk and hang out and blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, of course, of course, of course. Never, not once, not even a phone call, not even a text. Hey, what are you doing? Nothing. When you level up, toxic falls off every time. When you draw a healthy boundary for yourself and other people know you're not breaking yourself, it falls off. It falls off. Maybe you literally can't even. It says, think you can't even? Slow your eye roll. Step back and give it another think. Guess what? Chances are you probably can even, with a way better attitude and some love in your heart. Today, if you catch yourself feeling like basic bitching out on someone, take a deep breath, call on all your hood rat angels. Remember that you and all beings are tiny specks of the divine and surprise yourself with how you literally just evened. You know, it's almost like if you think you can't even, you know, talk to this person, like, oh my God, I can't even. Like if this person contacted me, oh my fucking God, I can't even. Like you can't even. Yes, you can. Because if that person reached out to you, you're not going to lose your shit, right? You're not going to do that basic bitch, you know, well, you this, you that, point the finger, rehash the past, bring up all the hurt. It's like, listen, I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you. I'm glad that you're moving forward and becoming better. But I'm looking in different directions for my life right now. You know, and I wish you nothing but the best, and that's it. You know, if you're not interested in moving forward, you're not interested in moving forward. You don't have to tear someone down. You could just simply say, I'm proud you're growing. You know, I forgive you for the past, if that helps. Like, I don't hold it against you. I understand that you were in a really bad place with yourself. And so, you know, I forgive you, but I'm not moving forward in that direction with you right now. I don't know if I ever will. I just know that right now I'm focused in this direction, and I just don't have the time or energy to dedicate to starting over with you. That's not where I'm at. You know, respectfully. I've moved on in life. You know, I don't have time to give this. And you could be respectful. You know, how you handle it says a lot about you. How you handle it says a lot about you. This person doesn't have to take away your peace, and you don't have to take away theirs either. But this person, if they're going to continue improving, you have to lead by example and continue improving. You know, you can't digress and bring up all the fucking bullshit this person did when, you know, they were X years old, however many years ago, and they were dealing with their shit. You know, it's no different than like family looking at you and treating you like you're the same fucking teenager that they knew growing up, but you're fucking 40. You know what I mean? Like you're so different from who you were when you were 16. If they were to keep treating you like the 16-year-old version of yourself and not show you any respect, you would lose your fucking mind, right? So don't treat others who have grown as if they haven't grown at all. But don't fall back in your own growth just because someone has grown a little bit, you know. Show them what it's like when they continue to grow, and they can refocus. I hope that helps. Okay, we're gonna get into Astronomikos, which is interesting because I don't know what AstraZeneca is. I know it's a medicine, but I don't know what kind of medicine, and I don't know what it's for. I don't know if you take it or if you looked into it, if you should. I'm not a medical professional or a doctor in any way. So, you know, AstraZeneca, if you look it up, I don't know. There was something about AstraZeneca, and I got Astronomikos. So we're gonna go with that. Spirit knows what it's doing. Yeah, AstraZeneca. I was like, what the fuck is that? And it was like, an Astronomikos came through for me. And I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to talk about them both then. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how it's significant to you or the person who resonates to this later in divine time. But yeah, Astronomikos and AstraZeneca came through with it. I don't know. I don't know nothing about AstraZeneca. I don't know if you've ever taken it and there's a lawsuit going on. Who knows? Maybe we need to get on that. For real. Who the fuck knows? All right, so let's get into it. Spirit, shots fired. What is the first step since the new moon in Taurus? What is the first step? Because we had all of our guides, guardians, and angels come through to intervene on our behalf. And this is the first, this is shots fired. This is the first step. Got 2 of gems, 8 of gems. That's pentacles. More pentacles, king King of Gems. More Pentacles. Damn, 6 of Gems. Got a lot of fucking Pentacles. Let's get some clarities, please. More Gems. Wow. Got the 3 of Gems. The 7 of Gems. What the fuck? Give me one more. The only other card out here that's not a gem is the Death card. And the Devil card, which, to be fair, they're both fucking money. Because Scorpio is the house of inheritance. And the Devil is Capricorn and Saturn and the house of career and reputation and monetary income. The bottom is the 7 of Clouds and the top is the 10 of Lightning. So 7 of Swords and 10 of Wands. But Jesus, like I've got Pentacles. 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 I pulled 8 cards. 6 of them are fucking Pentacles. The other 2 are Major Arcana. They're not even another suit. Jeez. If Astronomikos is the secret code name that you resonated to, I think you're prioritizing collaboration. I think you're putting in the hard work in order to let go of the situation that you've been in financially in the past. I think you're mastering wealth and achievement with all the hard work and putting yourself in a position where you can be generous. Responsibly generous. Not gregarious with no boundaries, right? But to where you have enough to overflow if you wanted to. I think you're fucking tired of feeling like you don't have enough. And it's almost like some switch flips. And you're prioritizing money. You're prioritizing working, putting in effort, hard work. 8 of Gems. Literally, hard work. If you have to prioritize a collaboration and working with other people, then you should do that. Whether it is, you know, working from home and pulling other people into it to work with you, or if you are looking to get a job and a career and working with other people in the everyday world of things, right? If you typically work from home and you haven't worked for an employer outside of yourself in a while, you might actually want to put in the effort to work and bring in some extra money from the outer experience, especially if it's supplementing what you can do with your home situation working, right? Depending on who you are and your circumstance. Because whatever it is that you put your effort towards, whatever you look to transform in your life, you're going to achieve it. You're going to achieve it. Yeah, I think you're fucking tired of feeling like you can't do what you want to do, or that you have to say no when you want to say yes. You're fucking tired of it. You're tired of missing opportunities. You're tired of feeling like a victim. You want to live life, you want to plan, you want to journey, you want justice, you know, like you want to live. You want to live what it really means to live. Yeah, the first step, prioritizing connections in alignment with you that put in the work, no different than you do, right? It's like if you're going to work on in a group, then everybody has to have the same work ethic. You can't be the leader and everybody else slacks and then you start covering for things, right? Because that's never going to work. You got to collaborate with other people who share a similar goal, a similar drive, a similar, you know, work ethic, and all put in towards the same goal. Because I think that if you can connect with the right energy, you will most definitely achieve whatever it is you're after. You will achieve whatever it is you're after. Let's get some more insight. Let's go a layer deeper. Temperance. The Lovers. That's Sag and Gemini right there. That's that full moon energy. The Ten of Wands reversed. So we got the Ten of Wands out on top, and then we got it out again, but it's reversed this time. With the Nine of Pentacles. More Pentacles, and the Three of Wands. Yeah, you are, and it's the Lord of material gain and established strength. You have made the choice to alchemize the self and say, fuck these fucking soul burdens, fuck the crosses I'm bearing, fuck my history, fuck my ancestral karmic shit, fuck all of that. Like, I'm gonna fucking soar. I'm going to be successful. It's almost like you had a light bulb go off about who the fuck you are and what you're doing with your life. And as soon as you set your eye on it, it's like the effort's there, the drive is there, the team is there, and you're sovereign. You're gaining everything you're seeking to gain. Yeah, the Chariot's on the bottom, major momentum, peace restored. Peace restored. You got a vision. You've got a vision, and you're making this judgment call about being in your strength and overcoming all kinds of pain. It's like divine masculine energy, emperor energy, right? Nine of Cups. You are dead set, hell or high water, on receiving Empress energy, what you deserve to receive. You're moving towards the Ace of Pentacles. You don't give a shit how hard it is. You don't care. So what if it's hard? So what if that step is hard? So what? You're still going to take the step. You're not going to not take the step. Not when wealth is on the other side of it. Not when security is on the other side of it. Not when abundance is on the other side of it, right? Financial freedom. You're like, I don't care what steps in front of me or how hard it is, because I'm going to achieve whatever it is that I want to achieve and be at peace. And be at peace. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Whatever step you got to take, you're going to take it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with work. Like we were talking about, you know, the idea that there could be like a court case or something. Like if you have to take the step to file, if you have to take the step to fill out paperwork, if you have to take the step to talk to a lawyer, if you got to take the step to show up in court, you got to take the step to email, whatever, like it doesn't matter. Whatever the work is, whatever the effort is, you don't fucking care. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You got appointments you got to make. You're going to do it. Like it is what it is. It is what it is. The guidance. It's okay to start the fuck over if you have to. It's okay to start the fuck over if you have to. It says, did you fuck up? Start over. Did things fall apart? Start over. Every day isn't a new beginning. Every moment is. Every day isn't a new beginning. Every moment is. Deep as fuck, I know, right? Quit holding on to old mistakes and shit. Just start the fuck over. Just do it. Just do it. Like, it doesn't matter who you were yesterday. It doesn't matter who you were 5 minutes ago. If you're determined right now to live your best life right now, then that's exactly what the fuck you're doing. Reset. Reset. And if you're looking at your ex's page, send them a prayer and go the fuck to sleep. That was the next card on top of the deck. If you're looking at your ex's page, send them a prayer and go the fuck to sleep. This one right here. Be unfuckwithable. Okay. That was secret code name Astronomikos. We're going to get into Briar Rose. Briar Rose. Briar Rose is Sleeping Beauty. It's Princess Aurora. The fairies called her Briar Rose when she was in hiding. That was her name, Briar Rose. So we're going to see. Shots fired. What's the first step, Spirit, since the new moon in Taurus that we last had? When all of our guides, guardians, and angels were intervening on our behalf and planning some shit. This is the first step. Since then. Insight, please. Queries. Give me a little more. Wheel of Fortune is on the bottom. The Six of Clouds, the Six of Swords is on top. The universe knows what it's doing. You don't. But I feel like you may have potentially reached the end of the road with someone. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could be anybody, but they're a soulmate. It's the Two of Cups out here. It's in reverse with the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. There's no chance of whatever this is. Whatever partner, quote unquote, partnership this is, it's not a partnership. It could, should, would have the potential to be one, but it's not. The Lover's card comes out with the King of Coin in the reverse, the King of Pentacles in the reverse. I feel like it's almost like the manifestation. Maybe not the highest manifestation, but a really high one. Like your wish that you put out to the universe is in front of you. But you're not choosing it. And then the minute you don't choose it, you have lots of anxiety about your priorities. And then feel completely defeated, like you checkmated yourself. It's almost like having someone come towards you that's very stable, very kind. They would be an excellent partner, right? They're very predictable, very considerate, but you're not really attracted to them like that. And so you say no. And then after you say no, you feel so stupid. You feel stupid. Like, the more you think about them after the fact, the more attractive they get to you after the fact. And you're like, what was I thinking? And now you don't necessarily know how to go back and renege on what you said. Because you already told them you're not into them like that type of thing, right? Metaphorically, it's like you already cut it off or ended whatever it could have been. You already denied it, and you denied it in a way that they would be able to move on from it rather quickly, right? You did that. It's almost like a mercy, but you screwed yourself. The more you think about it, you screwed yourself. Kind of reminds me of Maleficent, right? Little Beastie. Like if you think about the live action, the live version of the movie, right? Maleficent. It's like she couldn't stand this little princess, and yet she loved her, you know, she loved her so much. And it's like the more she pushed her away, the closer she wanted to be with her. Like she fell so deeply in love with Aurora, like a daughter, you know. And so it's like whoever it is to you, I feel like a part of you almost likes to like the idea of saying no to them until you realize that you said no like one too many times and they moved on type thing. They're just like, all right, I get it. Like, I'm not going to try anymore. And they don't, because it's like something switched off in them. And the minute they switched off, it's just like, wait, but they already switched off. They already switched off. Give me some more insight into this, please, Spirit. Queen of Wands. Yeah, the non-committal queen. 5 of Swords. It's out twice now. The Lord of Defeat. The Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands. 3 of Swords is on the bottom. 3 of Pentacles is under that. $33 and 11 might be following you. 55 might also be one of those things. You like to be desired. And you like turning people down. It actually gives you some kind of crazy, like, ego boost. But it's like a toxic endorphin being released, right? It's like a toxic feel good. And the truth is, as soon as someone stops showing attraction to you, that's when you're attracted to them. You're attracted to people or situations that do not have any attraction or interest in you. And the minute someone or something starts showing you interest, you completely lose it. It's backwards. It's backwards. Your gut knows what's up. Trust that bitch. The back says, your gut wants to talk, and it always has your back. All you got to do is listen up and not be a punk about whatever it's got to say. Even if you're fuzzy on the right thing to do, your gut usually knows what the wrong thing to do is. Maybe the right thing to do is anything but what you're tempted to do out of spite, fear, or impatience. Yeah, probably that. usually is like 99% usually. Your gut knows what the wrong thing to do is. Your gut knows it's the wrong thing to hurt said person or reject said person. It's the wrong thing to do. It's the wrong thing to go after someone who shows you no fucking interest whatsoever. It's the wrong thing to do. Your gut knows. You just got to listen to it. You just got to listen to it. And you might need to dig into where that comes from, that pattern, ancestrally. Like, what did you learn? What did someone say to you back in the day that started that behavior pattern? Because whatever it was that you were taught, that behavior pattern started taking place, that is incorrect. That is incorrect. You will not align with happiness or stability that way. All right. And finally, Will the Wisp. Will the Wisp. If you resonated with this secret code name, if it's your code name, Will the Wisp are like the little ghost-like lights that people see sometimes in like swamps or marshes or bogs, and they distract people off the path because they're trying to follow the light, but the light, you can't necessarily catch it, but it'll mislead you off your path if you're not diligent and you get distracted. So you may have a type of will-o'-the-wisp, some kind of ghost from your past, maybe this life or another, with some kind of soul connection trying to distract you off of your path. Okay, let's see. What's the shots fired? What's the next shot? The first step that is transpiring since the new moon in Taurus, when all of our guides, guardians, and angels intervened on our behalf and started setting things in motion. This is the first step since then. So what does it look like? What does it look like? Insight, please. We've got the Three of Gems. It's collaboration. What else? The Moon, shadow work. The Master of Gems is the King of Coin, wealth. We've got the Empress. Give me two more clarities. All right, we've got double kings out here and an Empress. We've got the Hanged Man, the Moon, clarifying each other. Ace of Cups is on the bottom. Novice or Page of Gems. The Page of Pentacles is on top. Okay, so if you got or chose and resonated to Will-o'-the-Wisp, really, Ace of Pentacles is under the Ace of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles is under that. Well, well, well. Double Queens on the bottom, too. Okay. 10 of Gems. All right. Emperor. Okay. So listen, if this is your reading, I think you're going to have an opportunity to seriously receive, like high levels of receiving. Ace of Cups, Ace of Coins, Empress, King of Coin. I think that you especially if you're tuned into your intuition, because we've got the moon and the hanged one there, and we've got quite a few cups out here, and the King of Swords. You know, if you're tuned into your intuition and you're utilizing your demons, the identification of your demons, to navigate away from your shadow, which I was talking about in the new moon in Taurus. It's like when people talk about integrating your shadow, they think it means, well, you got to be a bitch or be an asshole sometimes. And that's not it. Integrating your shadow means understanding what your sin is, right? Your 7 deadly sins. Like I was talking about it, if you know your sin is lust and you feel like you are completely drawn to the chemistry and nothing else matters but sleeping with this person, that's your sin. If all you want to do is sleep with someone to the detriment of everything else going on in your life, everything else becomes secondary because your goal is to focus on being with this person, that's your sin, and you need to avoid it at all cost. That person, the act of it, avoid it at all cost. Focus on everything else but that. Understanding what your sin is and how it takes control of you and disregards everything else in your path, right? The distraction. Understanding what it is and being able to identify it and stop it and choose against it. That is integration. That is integrating your shadow. That is understanding what your shadow is and saying, nope, never again. It's no different. Like if people are inherently lazy and they look at situations, they're like, oh, if this person's taking care of me, I could totally fuck off. If this person's doing this and they're running this errand or they're doing that errand, I could tell them I'm doing this and completely fuck off. Like I can be lazy with them. If that's appealing to you and you're looking to something and you want to be with something because it allows you to be lazy, and you would rather be lazy than deal with everything else in life, and you just want to be lazy, sloth, like you have to avoid that at all costs. That is not the direction. That's your sin, right? Laziness is and sloth is your sin then. And if you are drawn to something and magnetized to something because you just want to fuck off and be lazy, that's appealing to you, then you have to recognize that that is your sin, that is your demon, and you have to say no to it every time. That is not the way, because every time you choose it, it results in some kind of upheaval at the end. It results in some kind of tower or tornado type experience at the end. There's some kind of collapse or trauma or pain or ripping apart of reality at the end of it. It's tumultuous. Every time you choose an alignment with whatever your sin is, the result is horrible. So this is understanding. The integration is understanding, right? Taking a moment to reflect. The hanged one, surrendering to the shadow work that you've been doing. It's understanding that you cannot submit. You cannot submit to your shadow and let it be all consuming. Some people have more than one. Some people have more than one, and it doesn't matter. You have to learn how to say no more. I don't want my life in the middle of an upheaval. I don't want my life being tossed around and ripped apart. I don't want my life going through. I don't want to experience more pain. I don't want to experience more resets. I don't want to experience instability. And every time I choose an alignment with my detriment, my life ends up Schitt's Creek. I'm not choosing it anymore. Right? I'm not choosing it anymore. Whatever your sin is. Pride gets a lot of people. You'd be surprised. It is the stealthiest one, because people will be in certain dynamic ships, romantic or otherwise, because of pride. They don't want to feel like a failure. They don't want to feel like letting it go means they failed. If they let it go and they drop it, then they failed. Pride gets everybody. Well, I'm successful if I attach myself to this person. I look good if I attach myself to this situation. And I'm too prideful to let it go. But it's painful. But it's painful to stay because of pride. To lose out on good people or good circumstances or better situations because of pride. too proud to leave said person, because, you know, if you leave them, then you'd have to admit that everybody else was right, because they probably warned you about that situation or person, you know, like then everybody else is going to be right, and you don't want to be wrong, and your pride keeps you there. It's fucking painful. If you're staying in something because of pride, like, you have to be able to say never again. I'm never going to continue in a pain state because I'm afraid of failing, or I'm afraid of being wrong, or afraid of being told I told you so. I would rather just learn. I'll put my pride aside, and I don't have to be right. I just want to be happy. Right? Some people don't give a shit. They would rather be right than be happy. I think what you're doing is collaborating with your defeats. I think you're looking at the losses that you've taken and recognizing the moves you made, right? The choices that you made that aligned you with the loss, that aligned you with the defeat, right? Checkmated. I feel like you're doing the shadow work and manifesting a reality where you don't need to take from anybody. Energetically speaking, like, you don't have your hand out. You've mastered wealth, right? Wealth in all of its forms. It's not just money, but you've manifested some kind of wealth, if nothing else but spiritual wealth. You've manifested stability. You don't actually need anybody. You are not codependent. You are not codependent, and you're about to receive major downloads, major insights. I think you've gained a ton of knowledge and wisdom, a ton. You could probably and should probably write a book. Because you're no longer getting distracted. You can easily identify what the distractions are. And you could literally look at it and be like, that's a beautiful distraction. And then keep moving down your own path. Well, that's a beautiful distraction. And you could admire it for a second and just keep going. Like the will-o'-wisps, you could see that beautiful ghostly light trying to lure you off your path. And you're like, oh, that's a pretty little light, but you keep on going. You know, you're not veering off your course. You've gained an incredible amount of wisdom. And I think that you're about to receive big. The Ace of Cups with the Ace of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. That's the intention. That is the underlying energy where all of this is moving towards. You're moving towards the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. You're receiving the Empress energy. You've got some major blessings moving in. Maybe literally, like financially, or literally like earthly level, and emotionally. You're going to feel full. It's a major gratitude. Let's take it a layer deeper. Yeah, you're strong in your peace. We've got the Strength card with the Four of Swords. It's the rest from strife. You're not forcing anymore. Jupiter and Gemini with the Eight of Swords. Jupiter and Gemini. And the Knight of Wands, the Lord of Flame and Lightning. Sag energy. Yeah, this is the ascension energy, right? Where we were talking at the very beginning of this live, doing the aspects, the Leo rising with Estrella. You're inside that mystic rectangle with the Gemini sun and the Sag moon and the Leo ascendant and the Pluto in Aquarius. That's the Four of Swords. The Lord of Rest from strife. I think you've claimed your peace. I don't think you're forcing anything. I think you're moving down your path. I think you're moving down it with speed. because you're not getting distracted. That Knight of Wands has some serious, serious speed. With the double horse imagery, that's serious stamina. And I think you've got angelic support. I think that stamina is angelic support. I think you're moving forward high speed. You might want to listen to that song by Coldplay. High Speed. That's literally the name of the song. I'm going to listen to it afterwards. I fucking love that album. It was such a great album. Yeah, bottom of the deck is Justice. Bottom of the deck is Justice and the Two of Cups. You might have a soulmate coming in. You might have a soulmate coming in. To help you on your path, someone deep and aligned with you. There's Saturn and Venus on this card, that's what's being weighed. So you could be like me and have a Saturn-Venus conjunction. You could have positive aspects between Venus and Saturn. Venus is going to be moving into a square with Saturn as it moves through Gemini. But ultimately, by the time that Venus gets into Cancer, that's going to make some really pretty aspects to Saturn and Neptune for that matter. I think that you're going to have a very deep connection. Yeah, Venus and Cancer. I shit you not. I just looked down and that's Venus and Cancer right there on the Two of Cups. So yeah. Venus and Cancer. Yeah, I think you're manifesting some really pretty connections. And I think you're manifesting some wonderful real world level abundance in some which way, shape, or form. Because you're doing the inner work. Because you're doing the inner work and you integrated. You integrated. You are not integrating. You integrated. You understand. You understand your shadow and you use it so that it works for you. You don't use it against other people. You integrated it and it works for you now. Your darkness serves your light now. You've integrated it. What is the guidance, please? Ooh, we've got two. Yeah, fuck out of here. Like, the universe is your sugar daddy. The universe is your sugar daddy. Fuck out of here. Yeah, universe is your sugar daddy. That was on top. Yeah, accept the good in your life and know you're a fucking delight. These are the two cards that flew out. So they say, fuck out of here. It says, this is your mantra today. Say it in a New Jersey accent and add emphasis. If bullshit shows up, give it a fuck out of here and send it on its way. This should probably be a silent mantra at work and school and pretty much anywhere in public. But it's still highly fucking effective, even when you keep it all to yourself. Accept the good in your life and know you're a fucking delight. Once you notice the good shit going on in your life, more good shit starts happening. It's like a magnet or a dung beetle. Fun fact. Once a dung beetle gets a little nub of poop, he runs around with it and more poop sticks to it and grows and grows. Goodness is like that. Goodness is like that. You know, if something would distract you with its bullshittery, it's just like you're moving the fuck on so fast. Like, get the fuck out of here. And you just keep going. You're focused on the good, and the good is getting bigger, you know? For real. Yeah, you're not distracted at all. You've got distractions. They're around you, but you ain't giving into them at all. The universe as your sugar daddy was on top. It says, we've all spent enough time feeling fucked by the universe to assume it's time we got showered with some real dope shit. Spend today letting the universe treat you like the arm candy you are. The simple act of changing your vibe to one of receiving and thanking the universe for all its cosmic bling will do the trick. Your mantra today, bring it, Poppy. So there you have it, guys. Those are your beautiful secret code names. I'm going to be live in just a bit. I'm going to take some time to be human before I get intention candles ready for our beautiful Soul Star and Divine Rebel members here on the channel. I love you guys. I have faith that everything that I've Saggy vomited out in this live will serve you in some way in divine time. So until we next meet, my love and support is with you always. Take care of yourselves and each other. Later, guys.